Wrestling saga has just been rocked by the most staggering executive decision in WWE history, a move so unprecedented that it's already rewriting the rulebook on corporate discipline within the world's biggest wrestling company. In a development that has left the locker room divided, the industry buzzing, and the fanbase reeling, Triple H has officially terminated Seth Rollins from WWE, ending a professional relationship that has spanned over a decade and been defined by a volatile mix of mentorship, betrayal, conflict, and uneasy reconciliation. This decision, born from a culmination of years of escalating tensions, blatant defiance, and a final act of deception that shattered any remaining trust, proves in no uncertain terms that not even the most decorated main event superstars are immune from the consequences of crossing certain lines. The relationship between Triple H and Seth Rollins has always been complex, starting with Rollins' rookie years when attitude problems nearly saw him released before his career even began, continuing through the highs of the Authority era when Rollins was Triple H's golden protege, and sinking to the lows of 2016 when Triple H turned on him, costing him the Universal Championship in one of the most shocking betrayals in modern WWE history. What began as a power struggle between mentor and protege evolved into a toxic cycle of mistrust and manipulation, and as Triple H transitioned from on-screen boss to legitimate corporate executive, Rollins never truly adapted to the reality of answering to him as an actual authority figure. The seeds of this termination were sown over years, but they began to bloom into real corporate concern between 2022 and 2025 as Rollins' character and real-life persona blurred beyond recognition. Adopting the "Freakin'" moniker and branding himself the visionary, Rollins leaned into an eccentric, egocentric identity that WWE management feared was spilling into his backstage behavior. Reports circulated about his treatment of newer talent, his growing list of creative demands, and his increasingly volatile relationship with production staff. The final, non-negotiable breaking point came in the wake of SummerSlam 2025, when Rollins, who had been publicly declared too injured to compete, stunned the world by showing up unannounced to cash in his Money in the Bank contract. While the move electrified fans, it enraged Triple H once he discovered that Rollins had intentionally faked the severity of his injury for months, manipulating corporate resources, exploiting medical protocols, and taking advantage of the company's genuine concern for his health. This revelation wasn't just another backstage spat, it was, in Triple H's eyes, a direct breach of corporate trust, an exploitation of the company's goodwill, and a dangerous precedent for workplace deception that could not be ignored. In a private confrontation described by insiders as explosive and deeply personal, years of unresolved resentment boiled over. Triple H laid out a laundry list of Rollins' infractions, from his disrespect toward authority to his repeated policy violations, only for Rollins to double down rather than show remorse. Faced with a blatant refusal to acknowledge fault, Triple H made the call that firing Rollins was the only way to protect WWE's authority structure, corporate integrity, and long-term culture. When the announcement came, it was delivered with corporate precision, making it explicitly clear that this was not a storyline, not a suspension, but a permanent severance rooted in documented violations and irreparable breaches of trust. The fact that Triple H was willing to strip a reigning world heavyweight champion of his title and remove him from the company entirely underscored his resolve to place organizational values above short-term creative or financial gain. Industry reaction was swift. While some were shocked at the magnitude of the decision, many insiders praised Triple H's willingness to take decisive action, noting that Rollins' behavior had been a growing problem for months. Younger talent saw the firing as a sign that management would protect the locker room from toxic influences regardless of star power, while veterans acknowledged that the line Rollins crossed was one no professional should breach. From a business perspective, the decision carries undeniable risks. Rollins was a merchandise powerhouse and a proven main event draw, but Triple H's gamble is that the long-term damage of allowing such behavior would have been far worse than the short-term hit to revenue and ratings. Legally, WWE is on solid ground, with a documented pattern of conduct violations and the injury deception forming a clear case for termination with cause, shielding the company from wrongful termination claims. The ripple effects of this move will be felt for years. It has set a new precedent for discipline at the highest levels, sent an unambiguous message that professional conduct is non-negotiable, and marked a permanent shift in WWE's corporate culture under Triple H's leadership. Beyond the boardroom and the ring, the firing represents the tragic end of a relationship that once symbolized the passing of the torch, a mentorship destroyed by ego, defiance, and betrayal. For Triple H, it was a deeply personal disappointment to cut ties with someone he once helped mold into a main event star. For Rollins, it stands as the ultimate consequence of letting personal ambition and arrogance overshadow professionalism. This watershed moment will forever serve as a cautionary tale in wrestling. No matter your talent, status, or accolades, in WWE's new era, talent without integrity is a liability, and no one, absolutely no one, is above the rule.